Welcome back to Noka Media, your source for Northern Ontario homegrown media content.
The Timmins Chief of Police held an official press conference after the two shootings in the 24-hour period.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to have a quick opportunity to talk to any of the media present that had any questions related to some of the incidents that have happened over the last couple of days. On July 31st, shortly after 1 a.m., officers responded to reports of gunshots in the area of Balsam Street North near 5th Avenue. One male victim was transported to the hospital and was pronounced deceased. The ensuing investigation determined that a person had been shot by another individual known to him. Officers secured the area and processed two residences and the outside areas for evidence and released to the homicide as related to the homicide investigation. The suspect in this investigation has not been arrested at this time. Subsequently, on August 1st, at approximately shortly after midnight, officers responded to reports of gunshots in the area of Ray Street South and Wilson Avenue, also here in the city of Timmins. Officers located three individuals with gunshot wounds. One victim was pronounced deceased. One remains in serious condition in hospital with life-threatening injuries, and a third suffered a gunshot wound but was released from hospital. The area has been secured where investigators continue with this homicide investigation. There have been some previous media releases which were posted advising of these details. It's important to note that the two incidents are not linked in any way with each other. The circumstances that led to these crimes are still being investigated. However, they are distinct and involve completely different people and circumstances. These crimes are not random acts of violence, but rather isolated conflict between persons known to one another. And both crimes involve illegal firearms and have an element linked to the drug culture. It is understandable that the two incidents of this nature are concerning to the public, with two homicides occurring in such a short period of time. It's important to note police have seized some firearms. However, given the nature of the crimes, the presence of firearms and the propensity for violence by these individuals, it is understandable that members of the public would be concerned. There is no immediate threat to the public at large, and police have not yet arrested the individuals involved, but based on the investigation and the information that we have to date, that would suggest that this is not related and there's no threat to the public at large. At this point, two people have been arrested, but the investigations are still in the initial stages and currently ongoing, so further details will not be shared at this point in relation to that. Numerous resources in terms of our officers and some supports have been assigned to these two investigations, including the crime unit, forensic identification section, the emergency response team with support provided by the OPP forensic identification section, and their tactics and rescue unit. There has been a strong police presence in these areas over the past couple of days, which will continue as the investigations move forward. Investigators have been working around the clock since the first homicide and will be continuing to work throughout the weekend.
After his presentation, the chief opened up to questions from media. However, he was unable to provide any additional information.
One from each case or two from one or the other?
They're both related to the most recent incident.
And you can't tell us anything about it?
Certainly can't provide that information, and certainly the names, there's no information's relayed at this point in time, so we're not able to provide that information at this time. But we're confident that we're going to be able to get some more details out to the public here before too long. As is the case with the names of the deceased, families have to be notified, and there's a number of steps that have to be taken before we can provide that information. I know that's not helpful, but really what I really wanted to stress, and I know there's a lot of concern out there, there's no active shooter running around our community. These are very much targeted events, as often happens from time to time. Unfortunately, these events happen to be within 24 hours, just in fact almost exactly 24 hours of each other. But we can confirm that it is not related. They're not related in any way.
But you say that there's not someone wandering around, but the suspect from the first case Thursday night is still at large.
No, that was more in response to some suggestion in the public out there that there's an active shooter, and that I don't know where that term came from, but that's certainly not the case. In any investigation, you're going to always be looking for your suspects. Sometimes you may have leads that you're going to follow up on, but until you have them in hand and charges are laid, we're not going to provide that information.
That one suspect, are you not going to release his name or a photo or anything as you look for him?
When the right time comes, we will provide information for the suspects as they are suspect or suspects as they come to be known, and certainly when the charges and information are sworn, we'll provide that information gladly. In fact, we'll be looking for the support of our community and media especially to be able to get that message out, but we're just not at that stage yet. Hopefully we'll be able to do that before too long.
Do you have a message for that suspect who's still at large? Is there anything you want to say to that person?
Absolutely. These are complex investigations, and we realize that the conflict, whether one has with in the different incidents, we do encourage you to come forward, provide your version of events as to what's happening, so that we can bring some conclusion and closure for the people involved. There's a lot of families that are affected by what's happened. Of the people involved, they have loved ones that really do care and are very upset with the circumstances. So, there's always two sides to a story. We'd like to hear both sides when we can, and we have versions of events we're exploring, but we still need to get your side of the story, and we encourage you to come forward. For anyone else that may have information, please, Crime Stoppers is available to report if you don't wish to call directly, but certainly we are here. The media release has the incident numbers, and you can call and ask to speak to an officer, and we'll be sure to get your information. But if you don't wish to do that, you can certainly reach out through Crime Stoppers.
Okay, so you're telling that suspect, come forward, tell us your side of the story. I pick up some confidence, as I guess I would expect, that person will be apprehended eventually.
Two different events, both have their own unique set of circumstances. One of them we know knows that we're actively looking to speak with him, and there's others involved that we have spoken to. So we have got some version of events. We need to hear from others that are involved, whether they're witnesses or involved in the actual events themselves. Anybody that has information, we encourage to come forward and provide that information.
But I meant specifically the shooter in the Thursday night incident. You're confident you will apprehend that person, and you're saying come forward before we do?
I'm not going to say that we're confident at this point. With the first incident, I'm just going to say that investigation is continuing, right? And we want you to come forward and provide us with your version of events.
Understood.
And we know that there's a story to be told. We have information that is guiding our investigators as they move forward, but we do need that version of events as well.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have a story or event you would like to see featured on this channel, just send us an email at nocaudits@gmail.com.